Hello everyone, in this video we have another 2028 election prediction. This time it's between Senator Raphael Warnock of the state of Georgia up against Vice President J.D. Vance. So I do think Warnock would be a pretty good candidate for the Democrats to run. He would definitely help Democrats out really well with black turnout in a lot of these swing states, and he is from a swing state himself, so that'll definitely give him a home state advantage in the state of Georgia, and I think that's a very critical state for Democrats to win Georgia. I feel like it's extremely important. It's 16 electoral votes, and it just makes it a lot more easier for them to really win here. So let me just finish setting up the safe blue states. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with Florida and Texas. Florida, it's still going to be safe Republican. I just don't see Warnock really cracking it below 10. And the Republicans keep gaining in registration numbers in this state, so I think it's just kind of out of play for the Democrats, probably permanently. Well, not permanently, maybe for a few decades. I don't think the Democrats would have a shot there in the near future, let's just say that. Texas, I think with Warnock, with him getting better margins with black voters, probably turning out a lot more, I think he could make Texas go below 10. So I'm going to put it as a likely Republican state. New Mexico and Virginia are just likely blue states. But let's keep on going. New Jersey, I also think would be a likely blue state. I think Warnock would really keep most of the Democratic base together in all these states. Going up to Maine, I would also put as likely blue. Well, Maine's second's likely R. New Hampshire, I think Warnock would do well with independent voters. He typically does well with them in his home state of Georgia, so I think he'll win New Hampshire probably by about 4 points or so. I think it still stays lean. Nebraska's second and put it as likely blue. But let's keep on going. So his home state of Georgia, I think you'd easily carry it by about 2 points against J.D. Vance. I don't think Vance has much of a shot in Georgia against Raphael Warnock, considering how well he did in 2022, even with Kemp winning the state by a likely Republican margin, which is, he had a pretty impressive win here. So let's keep on going. Minnesota, I would put it as likely blue. I think he would expand on Harris's margin in this state, probably doing a bit better with independents just across the board here. The state of Arizona, this state would just pretty much be out of play for the Democrats still, just because of how much of an advantage Republicans have here now. Let's see. So we have the Rust Belt trio: Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Starting off with Michigan and Wisconsin, I think Warnock would take both of these states over here. In Michigan, I think he would just do better in Detroit, and that's the big reason Harris lost, is she lost a lot of margins in Detroit compared to Biden, and I think Warnock would really be able to fix that. In Wisconsin, I also think he would get pretty good Milwaukee turnout in Wisconsin. He would get turnout pretty high in those urban areas, so I think he'd be able to carry the state as well. Going over to Pennsylvania, I think this would be a tilt blue state still. I think Vance still has a shot at winning this state against Warnock, so I'm putting this down to tilt blue, but I think Warnock still wins this state anyway. Going over to North Carolina, I think this is another state Warnock narrowly wins. I think him being from Georgia, I think he would have a regional advantage in this state, and I think he would just do well with black voters. And you really need a very high black turnout to really win in North Carolina. I think he's the type of one candidate who could really pull it off. Then we have the state of Nevada, but so far I think it's still going to be evenly contested. Even though Trump won it by 3, I think Warnock, he could do better with independent voters, and that's really what you need to do in this state. So I think Warnock narrowly would be able to pull off Nevada, so I'd put it as tilt blue. So overall we have 3 tilt blue states in this election, so it's possible Vance could win. He just has to win all 3 of them. But I think Warnock's just such a formidable candidate that I expect him to carry most of these swing states against J.D. Vance, just because I think he's a pretty good campaigner. He would do well with black voters, and he already shown he's done very well with independent voters who ticket splitted in the 2022 Georgia Senate election and the governor election. So this is how I see the race going. If it's Warnock versus Vance, I think Warnock is probably one of the stronger Democrats that they could run in the 2028 election. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel already, you should totally consider doing that. I'd appreciate it a lot. See ya.